The Babysitter's Nightmare, Houston, Texas. Chapter 1. The Call, Houston, Texas, summer of 2019. The sun had just dipped below the horizon, casting an orange hue across the suburban skyline. Amber Hayes, 19, adjusted her denim jacket and glanced at the GPS on her phone. She had just arrived at a gated neighborhood on the west side of Houston, an upscale area where the homes looked like something out of a luxury magazine. Amber wasn't new to babysitting. She'd watched kids since she was 15, and her calm demeanor made her a favorite among the parents in her area. This job, however, came through a friend of a friend. Easy money, she was told. One child. Big house. Parents out for a charity gala. The address led her to a massive, white, colonial-style home surrounded by tall oak trees. A stone lion statue stood by the door like a silent guardian. Classy. She smirked. She knocked. The door opened almost immediately. "Hi, you must be Amber," said the woman, smiling politely. Her name was Linda Rhodes, tall and elegant, wearing a long emerald gown. "Yes, ma'am. I'm here to babysit Tommy?" Linda stepped aside, gesturing her in. "Come in. Thank you so much for coming on short notice. I know it's late." "No problem. I'm happy to help." The house smelled like lavender and old wood. Inside, it was quiet, eerily so. A man descended the stairs behind Linda, straightening his cufflinks. He was sharply dressed and serious-looking. "I'm David, Tommy's father. Thank you for watching him tonight." They explained everything quickly. Tommy was already asleep upstairs in the guest bedroom. He'd had a cold, so they gave him medicine and didn't expect him to wake up. "You'll have the living room, TV, Wi-Fi, and fridge at your disposal," Linda said. "Emergency numbers are on the fridge, and the security system is on. We'll be back by midnight." Easy enough. But as the couple stepped into their sleek black sedan and disappeared into the night, Amber had no idea what horrors this night would bring. Chapter 2. The First Noise. By 9:30 p.m., Amber had settled into the plush cream sofa, feet tucked under a throw blanket, watching reruns of Friends. The house was so quiet, the ticking of the antique clock on the wall seemed louder than the television. She sipped a can of soda and scrolled through Instagram. Then she heard it. A thump. She paused the TV. It sounded like it came from upstairs. She glanced at the baby monitor on the side table. No sound, no movement. She waited. Nothing. Probably the house settling, she thought. 10 minutes later, thump, drag. Amber froze. This time it wasn't just a sound. It was a combination. A dull thump, followed by a dragging sound like something heavy being pulled across the wooden floor. She turned off the TV completely. Silence again. She picked up the monitor. The screen showed Tommy, still tucked under the covers, unmoving. But the hallway outside his room, it was completely black. No hallway light. She stood up, unsure of what she was expecting to find. As she reached the bottom of the stairs, she called softly, "Tommy?" No answer. She climbed, her steps cautious. The hallway upstairs was colder than downstairs, unnaturally so. The light bulb overhead flickered briefly, and then went out. She pulled out her phone and turned on the flashlight. The hallway stretched before her like a tunnel, with closed doors on either side. Tommy's door was at the far end. It was slightly open now. She hadn't left it open. She approached slowly. Crack! The floorboards moaned beneath her. She pushed open the door. Tommy lay just as he was before, sleeping soundly. She exhaled, relieved. Just then, slam. The door behind her shut on its own. Amber whipped around, heart pounding. There was no wind. No windows were open. She stood frozen for several seconds before slowly opening the door again. The hallway was dark and still. She didn't notice the shadow that slipped into the room behind her. Chapter 3. The Things in the Walls. Amber returned to the living room, shaken but trying to stay rational. Old houses made noise, drafts could close doors. That's all. but deep down, something didn't feel right. She turned the TV back on to ease the tension, the laugh track from the sitcom helping distract her nerves. Then came the scratching, faint at first. Like fingernails against plaster, it was coming from behind the walls. She muted the TV. The scratching grew louder, closer. She moved toward the wall near the fireplace. The sound was definitely coming from inside. At first, she thought of mice or rats, but the scratching was rhythmic, deliberate, not skittering or random. Then it stopped. Amber leaned in, placing her ear against the wall. Silence. Then, thump, thump, thump. Something slammed hard against the other side of the wall. Amber screamed and stumbled back, knocking over a lamp. What the hell was going on? She grabbed her phone and texted Linda. "Hey, I keep hearing noises in the house. Maybe something in the walls?" No reply. The phone's signal bars flickered. No service. That was impossible. She had full bars outside. As she stared at her screen, another sound caught her attention, a child's laughter. She snapped her head toward the hallway. It wasn't coming from the monitor. It was coming from downstairs, in the kitchen. Chapter 4. The Woman in the Mirror. She moved toward the kitchen, her phone flashlight leading the way. The laughter had stopped, but the room felt colder. The kitchen was empty. She noticed the family photo on the fridge, Linda, David, and Tommy, but something about it was off. In the background, barely visible behind the trees, was a woman in black. Amber squinted at it. The figure was blurred but distinct. A pale face, hollow eyes, long black dress. She shook her head. Maybe just a trick of the light. Then she saw the mirror above the sink. Her own reflection stared back. And behind her, the woman stood in the doorway. Amber spun around. No one was there. But when she looked back at the mirror, the woman remained. Chapter 5. Tommy wakes up. The baby monitor crackled. Amber raced to it. Tommy was sitting upright now, eyes wide open, but his expression was strange, blank. She ran upstairs, ignoring the growing dread in her chest. "Tommy," she whispered as she entered. He turned slowly to look at her. "She doesn't like you." Amber's stomach dropped. "Who, sweetie?" He pointed to the closet. "Don't open it. She lives there." Amber's breath caught. She backed away, closing the door behind her. Downstairs, every light began to flicker. The security system started beeping randomly, and her phone? Dead. Chapter 6. The Hidden Room. Determined to find answers, Amber began searching the house. In the study, she found something. Behind a bookshelf was a narrow door. It led to a staircase spiraling downward. A basement? The roads never mentioned one. Dust floated in the air as she descended, the air damp and foul. The basement was filled with old furniture, broken toys, and a rocking chair, still rocking, and beside it, a doll, its eyes missing, its face burned. Amber picked up an old newspaper from the floor. Local woman kills son and hangs herself in family home, 1987. The photo showed the same house. The woman looked just like Linda. Amber's breath caught in her throat. This wasn't Linda Rhodes' first home. This was her home. Linda wasn't Linda. Chapter 7. The Truth Unfolds. When Amber ran back upstairs, the house had changed. The walls bled. Portraits of the family showed twisted faces. Tommy was gone from his bed. She heard him crying from the closet. "No," she whispered, heart hammering, but she opened it. Inside wasn't a closet. It was a hallway, narrow and dark. At the end, Tommy stood, with the woman in black behind him. "Leave us alone!" Amber screamed, rushing in. The woman shrieked, her face melting into something inhuman. Amber grabbed Tommy and ran, the hallway collapsing behind her. Chapter 8. Midnight. As the clock struck 12, the front door burst open. Linda and David rushed in. Amber was on the floor, holding Tommy. The house looked normal again. But Amber wasn't the same. She quit babysitting after that night. Tommy doesn't remember what happened, but sometimes he draws pictures of a woman in a black dress, smiling from the closet.